Rosh Hashanah is the start of the Jewish year. According to many, the Jewish calendar revolves on a lunar cycle. Sighting of the new moon determines the month. Following the lunar cycle, a calendar year would therefore be 354 days. But a mere 10 days after Rosh Hashanah, we have Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. And the question that people ask is, how can that be? How can we have been so bad in the last 10 days that we require a Day of Atonement for the sins of the year? Surely it makes more sense, you would say, to have Yom Kippur first, ask forgiveness for the sins, and then start Rosh Hashanah as the start of a new year. The answer to this question I saw in a book by Rav Yoel ben Nun, a great scholar in Israel. He points out the following, that the Jewish calendar is a combination of both solar and lunar calendars. He explains as follows. The three pilgrim festivals of Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot need to fall within the agricultural cycle of the land of Israel. Pesach always has to be in the springtime, Shavuot, beginning of the harvest, and Sukkot at the end of the harvest. If we look at the calendars, the solar year is 365 days, and thus every year you'll note that the festivals will start dropping by 11 days. For example, 28th of September, the following year Rosh Hashanah will be the 17th of September, and then the 6th of September. But that starts getting too early, and thus they added in a leap year, a 13th month. And thus the Jewish calendar is a composite of both the lunar and the solar calendar. Rav Yoel ben Nun's theory, if it's true, provides us with a fantastic insight. Rosh Hashanah indeed is the start of the new year, because we are based on the lunar cycle. However, 10 days later is Yom Kippur, which makes Yom Kippur the 364th day of the previous year, according to the solar calendar. So Rosh Hashanah, year 1, Rosh Hashanah day, year 2, Yom Kippur is not Yom Kippur for the second Rosh Hashanah, but rather the Yom Kippur for the very first Rosh Hashanah. Yom Kippur therefore concludes the solar calendar from the previous Rosh Hashanah, 364 days from last year. What we assume Yom Kippur being the 10th day of Tishrei is correct, but it's not the 10th. We are not asking forgiveness for this year of 5780. We are asking for forgiveness for the year 5779, the end of the solar year. And thus it makes sense that Yom Kippur would be on the 10th day of Tishrei, as the final day of the solar year. To add to his theory, at the end of Yom Kippur, we sound the shofar. There are many reasons behind this, but one reason relates to the counting of the Yovel and the Shemitah cycles, the Jubilee year, which was announced at the end of Yom Kippur. This was based on the land and therefore the solar calendar. Thus we now understand why Yom Kippur will be 10 days after Rosh Hashanah, or maybe it's 364. Wishing you all a Gemar Chatima Tova.